Guys, how are we feeling today? Welcome to another amazing episode of Falcor's Mighty Adventures. Uh, I hope you liked the last episode. That was one of my favorites, and it did pretty well, so I'm glad. My mom wanted to say a couple of things. She's like, some people don't even, just to clarify, some people, most in fact, don't even need to do a surgery. They can just extract the blood, from the elbows, just normally, like anyone would, and so it's even easier. Just for anyone interested, many people, well, several people told me that they didn't know it was so easy, but it is. Donating bone marrow is way easier than people imagine. It's literally like a blood transfusion. That's it. But yeah, today I'm feeling kind of uneasy. I'm like, when you've got like this restlessness inside, and it's not a good restlessness, it's a bad one. I'm feeling that right now, so I might be messy today. You can't have everything. You can't have perfect videos every time, but we're gonna do our best. Subject of today has to do with the treatment, so we're going on, but I felt like it's my goddamn channel. I can talk about whatever I want. So I'm going to talk about something really quick before, because it has to do with what I wanted to talk about, which is something really, really simple about the treatment. So the other day, I had asked a good friend of mine called Peter Radigan, saying his full name because he's pretty much going to be famous in a few years. So I'm not losing anything. So I asked Peter Radigan. He's some kind of music, like, to me he's like a musical genius. And he's also a really good friend of mine, and I'm like, for a project I need kind of like a soundtrack song to go in the background, and he's really bored because of the quarantine, so I'm like, do you want to like give it a shot? And he's like, sure, I'll make you this song. And I told him, like, I sent him a sample of what I imagined the song could be like. And I told him, there's no rush. There's literally like, there's no date where I need it 100% done. So I'm like, could you just do it and you take your time with it? And he's like, sure, sure, sure. And in 15 minutes, this guy had the first draft. Like, it was practically a full song, like intro, body, and outro. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I just told you, like, I just told you to do it. Like, how did he do it? And I tried making it myself. Like, I researched how to do music electronically without the instruments, and I even gave it a shot. And I was nowhere near creating a song. Like, it's a completely different, it's like learning a profession, and I don't have the talent for that. I don't have that longing, that drive to like learn all of it, So I asked Peter Radigan, and this guy did it in 15 minutes. And this got me thinking. I'm like, how the hell did he do it? And then I was looking at Instagram, remembering this Peter Radigan thing that happened. I'm looking at Instagram, and suddenly all of it is shocking me. Like, I'm seeing all these artists, and they're like, oh, this is something I drew today. And I'm like, how? Like, I hadn't realized this in the past. Like, of course I admire art. I've always admired art. Actual art, not fake art. But now I'm like legit shocked at like the human value of art. Like, that someone did that. It's not even utilitarian. They're not going to use that for anything. Like, in my case it is. I asked for a specific song for a specific need, but many people draw because they like drawing and there's no use to it. This really got me thinking, like, I start overthinking things like this. So this might get a little complicated, but I'm going to try to like be calm and try to put this in order. And if it gets kind of all over the place, just skip this video, because really you're not losing anything. Hopefully it will turn out well. So I was thinking, this made me think, what makes us humans so goddamn good? Why are we the apex predator on this planet? Why are we the ones that ended up conquering it? Why are we the ones imprisoning other animals? Why are we the ones who can choose, uh, sort of choose for the world in what direction we want to take it? Meaning, if we wanted to, we could destroy the entire world if we wanted to. Why did we get here? And of course, it's not physicality. It's not something physical. It's not like we have the strongest hands. It's not like we've got the best eyesight. So obviously, it's not something physical. I think we can all agree we're not the best because of that. And then, I was always taught that it was our brain. We're so smart, and we somehow evolved, or we didn't, a superior brain. We can do complex simulations in our brain. We can calculate things better. In general, just our mental capacities are way above those of other animals. But although I believed this maybe a few months ago, this new appreciation towards the art made me doubt everything, and I'll explain why. I think there's something not logical behind our greatness. So, for example, if we were super logical, why would we do useless things like art? Like, what's the instinct? What do we gain from it? Because you could say Peter Radigan's good at music because over millennia we sort of evolved to enjoy music, and it's got social benefits, and so some people are good at music because it's a talent that's instinctual. But then you've got art that's completely useless on a social level. Why are we that creative? Why do we build things for nothing? Why do we want to build things that are in our mind? Why can we imagine things so effectively? And I don't think that has to do with intelligence. I'm more and more convinced that there's something within us that we can't calculate, that we can't measure, and that's why we've been ignoring it this whole time. But there's some driving force that makes us so human that is also responsible for other things. Like, for example, what's the most logical thing? Like, if you as a living being, I think the most logical, instinctual thing in the world is self-preservation, right? I think that's like the ultimate instinct. All animals have self-preservation as a really, really strong driving force, right? That's why we eat, and then that's why we mate, because we're preserving ourselves a long time. It's the ultimate self-preservation, right? But then why do we draw on walls? Why? Like, are we trying to preserve our culture? How is that self-preservation? That's got nothing to do with whether you personally are going to live or die. Why do we make poems? Why do we stimulate our emotions so much? And why is it addictive to stimulate our emotions? It's not like today you could easily say, oh, it's the hormonal rush that we're looking for, but it's not. It's not. People don't do things because of a hormonal rush. Like nowadays, it's so easy to say, oh, love is just a series of stimuli within your body caused by hormonal changes and cycles, and it's not that, not really. So I started thinking of other things, like maybe this is what makes us great, this emotional thing. And then I realized that many of these emotions either are completely pointless or make no sense in a person that's alone. And so I started thinking, like, we're nothing, because if this is the most important thing, this emotional thing that also relates to society and having a social structure and sharing these emotions, then what's the point? Like, if you're alone, then half of these emotions are useless, which means, sorry, I gotta pay attention because this guy can kill you in an instant. Okay, let me just sorry, gotta take a break here, but Falcor needs my attention, and this is really pointless if Falcor doesn't beat this guy. Come on, there we go. you gotta sort of dodge these two attacks that he does, because they stun you and then they kill you. Like, that thing stuns you and then that thing kills you. So this guy is sneaky. But we got him. So anyway, I realized that like many of these emotions are pointless, completely useless if you're all alone. In fact, I would say that certain emotional effects happen to you if you're alone for too long. Depression, for example, it's for example, I don't know if many of you knew, depression, serious depression, is hereditary. Why did we inherit depression? I think it's sort of to force us to come together, because as any nomad from North Africa and the Sahara will tell you, depression and paranoia stems from loneliness, from not being able to talk to people and overthinking things. Rather than communicating, you start overthinking, and that's where paranoia and depression and even suicidal thoughts come from not being able to reach out to someone. So we can tell if emotions and this humanity is what makes us great, and it's tied to society, then those two are linked, right? I think until then we can all agree, like that makes sense, at least to some point. So I was thinking, I got even deeper. I'm like, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense. Like, why do we show off all the time? Why do we have this obsession with showing off? And why does it make you seem so smug sometimes? And yet when athletes show off, it makes you feel like happy. You're like, damn, like I'm impressed by this athlete, or I'm impressed by this person's work. Why do people get jealous so easily, and why do others not get jealous so easily? Why are people happy when someone says, look at this great thing I've made, even though it might have nothing to do with their life? You know, let's say a poet says, I spent 14 years writing this poem, and even if you don't appreciate poetry, you'll say, I'm impressed, that's amazing. Or some other person might say, whatever, what a waste of time. Why would they spend so much time doing something that's completely pointless? And some people might feel this rejection towards something great like that. Why is that happening? And I'm like, do some people inherit this happiness for others and others don't? And then I went back to Peter Radigan, and I realized something great. It has to do with whether people are doing what they love or not. Remember, I'm sure many of you heard that they say that successful people are generous. And then others might say, no, they're not generous. They're actually extremely greedy. And if they show generosity, it's because they're being fake and they're trying to gain something out of it. Fair enough conclusion, right? But I have noticed in my own experience that extremely successful people, who also happen to be very rich sometimes, are in fact some of the most generous people I've ever met. And at the same time, humble people who have nothing, but at the same time are happy, tend to be extremely generous too. And that's why you hear people say, oh, you don't need wealth to be generous. And other people say, no, yeah, you do need wealth because you're calmer and things and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, logical reason. Now, I've noticed something. It's not the wealth or the success. It's in fact the path they've taken. It has to do with whether you're doing what you love or not. Because you can find a wealthy person that hates their life, and they hate how they reach this wealth. And in fact, they might even look back and say, I should never have done this. I should never have gotten rich. I should have just stayed poor and done what I love to do, which is, let's say, dancing or making brick houses or making YouTube videos. Even though I've got all this wealth, I wish I would have just continued making brick houses like I actually love to do. And I think this is where the difference is. When someone does something that they love, and they can be successful or not, but when they're actually doing something they love, they feel happy for others when they see someone else do something they love. However, if you spent your entire life believing that following your dreams is a complete waste of time because of so and so reason, you feel resentment towards someone that is successful doing what they love. So you feel jealousy and you hate it. This is why many families, let's say, I don't know, traditional families that have always worked their entire life, people that repeat to you every single time that the subject comes up that their life was hard and that they had to work for everything they got, and that life is not about following your dreams, it's about hard work and getting paid. That's why people like that usually tend to hate it when their son won the lottery by winning a Fortnite championship, for example. And the son might be saying, Dad or Mom, I've been telling you guys that this is the only thing I want to do. I have a passion for this game. I have a passion for playing video games. I have a passion for entertaining people while I play. I have a stream and thousands of people watch me every day, and the parents will not take it seriously. And you might think it's because they don't understand the streaming world. It's not. It has nothing to do with that. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that you're doing something that shouldn't be making you rich. And maybe parents aren't the best example, because they usually, they gain a lot from their son or daughter being very famous, and they feel this pride that in a way they are the ones that helped you reach that point. So I understand that, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that hate the fact that you do well doing something as stupid as playing video games, because ultimately what they're thinking is, I could do that, but I choose not to follow my dreams because I don't believe in that world. I don't believe in a world where you can play games and win money, for example. I don't believe in a world where anyone can be a famous dancer or a famous actor, even though there's thousands of examples of actors saying, listen, there's nothing special about me. All I did was continue acting, even though times were crap. And this can be applied to anything, which is why it's so important that that people follow their dreams in a way, to a degree. Follow your dreams. Do what you love. Spend time doing what you love. Feel like you're progressing in that thing. You have to feel like you're getting better. You've got to look for like something to make you even a better artist, or a stronger creative, or better at the sport that you're doing. And that is going to make you happy, and it probably will make you very successful, especially in today's world where it's easier and easier to be successful, believe it or not, because there are more mediums. It's easier to reach people. It's easier to show your skills. So by following that, you reawaken this internal thing that makes us so human, which makes you happy, which makes you more creative and make you want to progress. And by progressing, you're not just progressing yourself, but all of humanity, because there's a we mentality in mankind. That's why we're so social. We can't do things alone. We will never make it if we do things alone. Ask anyone who's been in a survival situation, or living alone for too long, or ask anyone who had to build a large monument. They didn't build it by themselves. They can't, So you're reawakening this inner humanity, which makes you so powerful as an individual and as a society. And also, all of these instincts that sort of made no sense, like showing off and things like that, you're going to see people show off, and you're going to legit think, holy crap, that person really nailed it. Like, I'm so happy that this person found something that they're good at, and look how well it's going for them. And so you're going to see other people's success, and you're not going to feel jealous because you're doing something that you love. So everyone, could you imagine the potential of mankind if everyone did what they love to do? Imagine if you went to school and instead of teaching you how to follow orders and how to be a good laborer and making you a jack of all trades, with the most important trait being you can follow orders and remember them, and if someone asks you for information, you can bring it back because they're basically, schools and exams are teaching you memory. short-term memory, not even emotional memory. So, imagine if those schools taught you, instead of all that, they taught you, hey, what do you love in this universe? What makes your world turn around? Is it music? Are you leaning towards the creative side? Which is really cool because, we can use many creative people in this world for anything, really. Like, some people, like, I look at YouTube and I see people with so much passion, and you go to a place like 4chan and you've got people solving crimes because it just happens to be their favorite hobby, thinking about crimes and reading crime stories. Why can't we use that person? Why can't we take advantage of this great skill, these skills that are latent in people? Why is that latent? Why are we using a creative person to lay bricks? And why are we using someone who can't lay bricks? Why are we using them for laying the bricks? I mean, you know what I mean. Like, everyone's doing something they shouldn't be doing. Why can't we just spread this knowledge out and spread this talent out and focus on finding this potential in people and taking advantage of that humanity instinct that we have, making society better because we're suddenly happier and we're happy to hear about other people's achievements. Suddenly everything makes sense. Like, I thought about this and I was like, everyone wants to know, like, what are you good at? Well, what am I good at? So I spent the whole weekend thinking, like, what is my passion? God damn it! And I thought I knew what it was, but like, it turns out I don't. But I'm gonna go through the process of what it might be with you guys. So I've always been a maker. I prefer creating more than destroying. Other people like destroying, and we need both in this world. I prefer creating. So let's start off with that. I like working with my hands, but I also like working with digital art and things like that. So I like making digital models too. So let's just say I like creating in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be with my mind, like writing a book or drawing a picture. I also like making things physically with my hands. So I don't think I'm an artisan in that sense. So maybe it's just making things. And then I thought, why do I like making things? Why? What's the purpose of it? And then I thought, is it for me? Do I like making things for myself? Like, I like making tools maybe. And I'm like, no, in fact, I've never made tools. And there are people that do. They love making tools and jigs and things like that. I don't. So what is it? Is it for me? And I'm like, no. And then I'm like, well, what I really liked doing was, before I got sick, I really liked making things that I would then give to people and then seeing their faces. And so I'm like, yeah, we're getting close. I was like, this is definitely getting close to what I like. This is my passion. I'm like, making things, whether it's writing something or making something out of concrete, I like making things and then taking it to another person and making them happy, and yeah, definitely. And I'm like, why do I like making people happy by giving them things? And I'm like, what is it? Because I want to help? No. Is it because I want to make them happy, entertain them? I'm like, maybe there might be something to that, but it's not the first cause. It's not the thing behind everything. I'm like, do I just like making people happy? I'm like, it could be, but I'm not really a people's pleaser. Like, sometimes I could give a crap about what the crowd wants. And in fact, this has pissed off many of my friends, saying like, dude, everyone's telling you to stop doing this and you do it anyway. Like, it's annoying. And it's true. I don't like just pleasing anyone. So what is it? Why am I making things to make people happy, to make them smile? Why? And I concluded today in the morning that it's just, I like helping people. And I like giving people things that are useful to them. I like whether it's making them feel special, which I really like doing. I love it when I make someone feel special. Whether it's making them feel special or making their day brighter, like you give someone a gift or you sell something to someone that's later going to give it as a gift, which is why I loved making concrete planters because most of the time it was as a gift. Like it was going to be, someone bought it from me and they told me it's a gift for, my father, for example. And I was like, yes, we're reaching it. It's this, it has to do with this, I want to help people by making things and giving them things. And I was like, yes, this is it. And then I'm like, but there's something missing. Oh, what is it? It's not just helping people out. Otherwise, I would have just joined some kind of like organization as a volunteer, right? Which I've never wanted to do, honestly. So what is it? And I'm like, what is it? Because my job before, selling planters wasn't really that fulfilling either. And then I realized what it was because I was thinking about today's video. What makes me the happiest person in the world? Inspiring people, giving them hope. I was so happy. I was like, this is it. Making people happy, but more than anything, inspiring them. Maybe I can inspire people to do something good. And I was like, this is it. If I can do this, if I can make someone, like inspire someone to be a better person, or just to do one good thing every day, if I can convince one person with these videos, one person to just put some time and effort in their lives every day, I'm gonna buy someone a coffee, or I'm gonna help someone across the street. Like if I can inspire just one of you to do this, I will, all of this would have been totally worth it. Like I'm guessing by the end of the series, it's gonna be 900 minutes of me babbling about complete nonsense. But if it is gonna be so worth it, if just one person tells me, hey, you have no idea what happened. Like I've been doing what you said, do one good thing every day. And it changed my life. Like, if I heard that, I'd be like, holy crap. I don't know what I'd say. Like, I'd lose it completely. So, inspiring people, like that, I think that's my thing. And not making speeches or anything like that. Like, just, anything to inspire you to be a better person. And by making everyone follow their dreams, if I can just inspire them to, like, see the world with just brighter eyes and not feel so attacked by this universe. It's so easy to feel like it's all against you, but if you just realize that I don't think that the universe works like that, it doesn't beat you to death just for the hell of it. It molds you, it tempers you into something superior, something with a heavy, powerful purpose in this universe. And why am I telling you this? Because I owe my life to my friends. I owe it to my mom for giving me a life again, but that comes later. Point is, I owe her, I owe the doctors for doing what they do best, which is saving lives, and I owe it to my friends for being there for me. And around February, well, actually on February, it was my birthday, and I remember basically all my friends were there, and the ones who couldn't make it were there in spirit. I felt it. And they were all there. We had a great time. And honestly, I wanted to take the moment to say goodbye to them. Yeah. Because the truth is, my chances of survival were going down with every day. And I was like, just in case I could say, goodbye to them. And I looked around. And I'm like, why should I say goodbye? Because this very thing that makes us human, that relies on on other people to be fully, to reach its full potential. This emotion is stagnated if it's not shared. Happiness isn't true until it's shared, I was looking at my friends thinking about this, and I realized, what's the point? Because my friends are inside that human part of me, because they've changed my life, which means I'm in their heart forever, because I've touched their lives one way or another. That's why they're my friends and loved ones. So my friends will never die, not while I draw breath, which means I don't ever have to say goodbye to them, because in a way we're all immortal. We carry all of humanity with us to this day. Every mistake, every good thing, every bad thing, we carry it all. That's what makes us human. That's been evolving over these years. That's what made us the apex predator. It's not intelligence, it's not the strength of our hands, it's this humanity that's been developing, and that's why we have to take very good care of it. That's why anytime something in the world tells you to stop feeling, you need to fight back. And I'm not talking about hurting feelings and being oversensitive. That's already ruining it. You're making it political. This isn't about racism, gender equality, anything like that. This is humanity. This is pure emotions felt between two people and then felt by everyone. And this thing that pushes us to be better human beings on our own, and then show the rest of the world, and then rejoice together and push all of humanity beyond the borders. Because let me tell you, it wasn't our intelligence that made us cross that sea to see what's on the other side. It was our humanity. Even though we risk our lives, something not very logical at all, we said, screw it, we're going to cross the sea. You know what? We're going to get off these trees, and we're going to go kill that lion. That's humanity. And that's what I wanted to say. Pretty long episode today, but I guess I was in that emotional state. So, yes. Thank you very much for watching. I love you guys so much. See you in the next episode. Bye.